realtor, notary signing agent, Century 21 Home Star. Not only is their phone number 440-463-8651, but also we want to let you know the mission statement that she uses is your satisfaction is my command. How are you doing?
Just wonderful. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. I'm doing excellent.
Great.
And that says a lot. So if you could just get into that, your satisfaction is my command.
When I first bought a home, I knew nothing at all about buying real estate. And the person that I was working with didn't do much to inform me. It was not a good experience. I ended up with the house, but it was not a good experience. And I decided at that point that I was going to become a real estate agent and help people understand the process, help them through the process, and whatever their wishes were, that was my command.
And before I turn it over to the professor and other people who I know will have something to say and ask you, I want to at least find out from you, what is so important and why do you set this like precedence that you want to make sure that you have a wise consumer?
A wise consumer who is informed gets to know exactly what they want and the process that it takes to get there. If you don't understand the process, then you are hindered all along the way. If you don't understand what you need to do to come out victoriously, then you're hindered. And if I'm not there to help you do that, that's my fallacy. That's why your desire is my command.
Elaine,
Yes.
listen, the fact of the matter is that if you wanted to right now, you might not be rich, but you got enough money where you could just sit back, relax, and do nothing, right?
I could.
Listen, you have properties and stuff, so you really don't have to do this, do you?
No, I don't.
And the fact of the matter is, when the way we got together was, you came to me and you said you wanted to be on the program because you wanted to help people, right?
That is my desire.
So if it was up to you, you could be sitting back on the hill, relaxing, enjoying yourself. But your desire is so great to help people that you continue your plight and your fight to make sure that we enjoy and get a part of the American Red. Is that right?
That's it. Actually, right now, my son wants me to move to Georgia with him. I have a daughter who lives in Florida. She wants me to move to Florida. But my dream is helping my people get their piece of the American dream.
And what do you consider getting your piece of the American dream?
What is your dream? You want a house. You want a place that you can call your own, where you can lay your head and not worry about somebody else telling you what to do. You want a place where you can raise your family, a place that when they grow up, they can come back and say, this is home, this is where I used to live. Now it's mom and dad's place, I can come right back home. If something happens, I have to come back home, there's a place to come to. Because being able to help our children succeed in life, we have to start putting down the tracks.
Putting down the track, and a big part of that track is getting your home, right?
Getting your own home.
Getting your own home.
And that's not impossible. I brought some statistics with me, and it talks about how loans are made and who owns what. The approval percentage for white Americans applying for a loan is 63.86%. Asians, who haven't been in this country that long, 64.64%. Hispanics, 53.88%. And blacks, 45.38%. That's not good. That's not good. We need to own as much as any other ethnicity in this country.
So at the rate it's going, at this rate that you just gave me, pretty soon we won't own much of nothing, will we?
We're going out the back door,
Mm.
and that's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. What I find is that people who own a home also have other values that they live by. If you rent and you don't like something, you move. But if you own it and you don't like something, you take a stand to correct it.
Absolutely right. So it helps the neighborhood all the way around.
Absolutely.
So, Elaine, how long have you been in real estate?
More than 25 years.
More than 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have saw the good. What's the good?
The good is when more people have their piece of the American dream. The bad was when we had that mortgage debacle and so many people lost homes. That was a very ugly situation. I had a lot of friends who lost homes during that period of time because they didn't listen to sound advice. It's hard to budget a mortgage if you're on an escalating mortgage. It's hard to budget your money if you don't know when something is going to hit you. If they tell you your mortgage is no longer $500 a month, it's now $700 a month, that hits you like a boomerang. And people just kind of fold it and let their homes go. But in the process, they wreck their credit. So we want to help them restore their credit and get back in the game. Once they restore their credit, they can buy a house again. But they are wiser consumers than they were when they bought the first time.
Absolutely. To give you a great example of that, my sister's husband, Mr. Calloway, he worked at the VA for almost 30 years. They had to put him out, and his credit was good. He owned his own home and another home, and had no reason to get into that debacle that you're talking about with that kind of mortgage you're talking about. And sadly, he wound up losing his house in that kind of situation. You know, it just broke his heart. But you saw, that's that bad part, isn't it?
That's that bad part.
No reason to even do that mortgage.
Absolutely not.
Yes, yes.
And probably didn't listen to good advice.
Didn't listen to it or didn't have it. And that's what you're all about.
That's it.
All right?
I had a statistic, too, that in 2017, there were 2,884 new mortgages granted by race. Whites had 1,664 of them. Blacks only had 492 of them. So we need to step up our level of home ownership. If we own a home, we care about the community. We care about the neighborhood. We care about the street. We care about the neighbors. If we don't own the home, jump up and run. That doesn't do anybody any good. It's costing you to move because not only are you tearing up your furniture, but there's an expense to moving.
Yes.
But if you own it, your furniture stays put. You start developing in that area. You know your neighbors. You become friends. You form that community. And those people look after you. They look after your children. And you do the same for them.
Absolutely. So you're saying even though you might have experienced losing your home, or you might be a new person that's thinking about buying a home, or you might be a person that just haven't came up in your head yet, you're saying to all these people what?
All of these people can do what their desires are. These people, if they've lost a home, there's nothing to keep them from getting another home. They have to make up in their mind that that's what they want to do. They bought a home in the first place, and it might have been their dream home, but circumstances cause them to lose it because they maybe didn't think it out far enough. If you're a first-time home buyer, there are programs to help first-time home buyers. You don't have to have perfect credit. We can help you with your credit. If you have a 580 credit score, which is pretty low, you can still buy a house.
You can still buy a house, Elaine?
You can still buy a house.
You can help them get it.
You can help you get it.
Lord, how
All
mercy.
you have to do is want it. When the desire comes, when you have a desire for something and you're thinking on it, you move forward. But you've got to get the desire first. Don't get the desire and let somebody talk you out of it. You want a house? Why not? You deserve a house. Your children deserve a place to stay. The reason that we bought our first home was because we have 5 children. We wanted our children to have a stable life. We didn't want picking up and moving this year and picking up and moving next year. They went to a school system. We stayed in that house till all of my children were grown. They grew up in the house that we bought. Every one of them grew up in that house. So there's stability. You know the neighbors. You know the neighborhood. Everybody knows everybody. You have parties together. The kids can get together, have their own little functions.
Yeah.
Because they're friends. They still have friends that they made when they were living in that house. Grown, still some of the same friends.
All right, Elaine, I'm going to let you go on with your stats, but our phone lines are lit up. We're talking to Elaine about buying a house or real estate, all right? You know how important that is.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm calling to ask her, since she's in real estate, what could she do if a senior citizen want to own their own home?
There is no age restriction. I have a couple right now that are over 70 years old getting ready to build a house.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. So if the situation was right and you got the right advice and all, you'd be interested maybe in buying a house?
Thought about it.
Yes, ma'am. Well, make sure you get the information that we're going to leave, and you talk to Elaine personally, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
And
I'm sorry.
That's a blessing.
All right. Who's on the line? Talk to me. Talk to Elaine.
This is Todd.
Yes,
Hey, Ted, I could get you there sometimes. Hey, Ted.
Hey.
All right, Elaine and Art and Al,
Yes, sir.
Sam. Could you talk with the public a little bit about the value of sometimes building a team of a small investment group, and if nobody in the group can buy a house individually by themselves, but as a result of them working together as an investment group, they could target a neighborhood, and maybe 4 or 5 people in the group could buy a house for one until the group gets the money to buy a house for another one and another one and another one. And sometimes that's an easier way to get approved for a mortgage through an established investment trust or a business, so that all you and your crew could get into a neighborhood and buy a home, as long as you're patient. Let everybody get a piece and then get a piece and then get a piece.
That's an excellent idea.
And it does happen.
Yes, there was a group that did that. They bought a whole street in Detroit, and they fixed up the houses on the street. One of them they made into a community center for the children. They built a little park, tore down one of the houses and made a little park on the street. But it was because they came together to do that. And we as a people have got to learn how to come together and work together and trust each other. One of the biggest factors is the trust in each other. If we can come together, everybody's got a little piece of money, put it together, buy one house, fix it up, rent it out, or sell it and make money off of it and go to the next house.
Well, mainly what you're talking about is people buying homes and moving in, staying there.
No.
And that's what.
No.
Okay, that's the impression I got, because you were talking about your family home and people moving into the neighborhood and making a stand if something's wrong, they're more inclined to do something about it if they own it and they live there.
And that's true.
Yeah, that's what I got. Well, if that's not what you were talking about primarily, that's what I'm talking about as a result of this phone call. I'm saying that if you guys want to move into a neighborhood for individual people that aren't related to each other than except for their own business or friendship pursuit, and maybe one doesn't have the money to get a house on that block, but collectively they could get the money for one to get a house on that block, then get that one in the house and get approved on the mortgage based on the collective income of the trust that you establish. And I'm referencing a financial trust or the business that you establish. And then if you establish the correct amount of actual trust for one another, then once you get that mortgage rolling along good enough, then the next one in the group can get a house on the block and move in and, be part of the collective that makes that neighborhood better.
All right, so Todd, she's been in real estate for 25 years, very successful. I'm sure she can deal with your point of view also. Go ahead, Elaine.
If you want to come together with a group of people and create a business, because what you're talking about would be a business.
Or trust.
A trust is a business.
Not all trust.
That has to have established guidelines. The bank would recognize your business based on your bylaws and your guidelines. And it would then lend you the money to do what you plan to do. You have to have established guidelines for where you're headed so that everybody that's part of that entity would know what to expect.
That's what I wanted you to put out there. But all trusts are not businesses. But okay, I like your attitude, Elaine.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
All right, thank you for your phone call. No doubt about it. So let's proceed. Elaine, again, tell them who you are.
I am Elaine Gaither. I work with Century 21 Homestar. I am committed to making your dream a reality. If you have a dream, you need to talk about your dream, not to everybody. Talk about your dream to those people that can help you.
Elaine, you can help, right?
I can help.
And more than you can help, Elaine, it's your passion, isn't it?
I stay in the real estate business to help my people. I could, like you say, I could be gone. I could be doing anything else because I don't need to be in real estate to live. But I stay in real estate because I want to help people understand where they're going and what they're doing when it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate.
And right now, Elaine, in our communities, as far as others buying houses and buying, it's looking bleak, kind of for the black community, isn't it?
What's happening in the city of Cleveland? Real estate is very affordable. When you look at other cities around the nation, real estate in Cleveland is affordable. It's so affordable that we even have investors who buy houses in Cleveland and they live in another country. We have investors who buy houses in Cleveland. They live in California, they live in New York, they live in Texas because of the affordability of the properties that we have. So for us, because we're accustomed to what's going on here, and we don't realize that a shack in California would cost you $425,000, and an 1,800 square foot house in Cleveland would cost you $200,000. We just don't get it. We need to get that we have something here that other people are looking at and they want, but we can have it. And in our community, we have to own our community. We let other people come in and buy our houses and rent them to us. So we're paying them and making them rich. We need to own our own. We need to be investing in our communities, in our children, and in our piece of the American dream.
Lord have mercy. I see it all the time, Elaine, just in East Cleveland alone. I see where prime property, just everybody's buying it but us. Understand?
That is true.
And as you know, as a real estate person, the community of East Cleveland is not going to stay where it's at right now.
Not at all.
And that property is going to be valuable, isn't it?
I have people who are investing in East Cleveland. There are parts of East Cleveland that are beautiful. They have lovely homes. And some of them are going really cheap, $30,000, $25,000 for a nice house that needs very little to bring it back to its original condition. But investors are coming in. They see it. We don't. They see that if they come in and they buy these homes, they're going to fix them. Doesn't take a lot. Fix them up and rent them out to us. They're not going to sell them. They're going to rent them. And we're the ones that are going to pay for the investments that they're making.
Lord have mercy. So that I see what your passion is. So again, give us some of your talking points on what we need to know about how we can buy a home and how we can invest.
It's really simple. A lot of people don't buy because they say home ownership isn't that important, or they think home ownership is out of reach. That is not true. If you really want to own your own home, all you have to do is start to think about it and make steps towards it. It doesn't take a lot of money. There are lenders out there who are giving away money for you to get a loan with them. I have one lender who gives $8,000, another one that gives $5,000. If you go to the Home Affordable Act, they're giving $1,500 to $2,500 for first-time home buyers. If you're a first-time home buyer or you have not owned a home for over 3 years, you can be considered a first-time home buyer. If you have some blemishes on your credit, that can be handled. Sometimes it'll take you 6 months. Sometimes it'll take you up to a year. Sometimes it'll only take you a couple weeks to get your credit where you need it to be. You only need 580. I have lenders who are begging to lend somebody a house.
All right. Excuse me, Elaine. Our phone lines are lit up. We don't want to ignore our phone calls. 216-578-1490. Who's on?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. Now, living in the inner city, they have new schools, and you know, lots of younger people are not making the kind of money to buy the houses in Cleveland in which they're not representing the price. In other words, you know, when you pay your property taxes, that's a big fee. People are not aware of that, and if you're young, if you buy a house, you have to represent your children as far as the community, and the schools are brand new. And likely, black people must understand, don't buy within Cleveland unless you're really aware of certain communities, because the taxes is not going to be the way you want to be, but you can buy that house. But I'm talking about the younger generation as now. So we have to think about that. White people, hey, they're way ahead of us on a lot of issues, and you mention it. And, hey, we must be aware. Thank you.
Michael Simon, who is a famous chef, moved his restaurant to Ohio City. He grew up in Ohio City, and he bought a house recently in Ohio City. So yes, white people are aware of what's going on in the greater Cleveland community. We're not. We may be concerned about the schools, but it's up to us to make them better. They can't get better just on their own. If we take our kids and move them someplace else, when you can have a house in Cleveland, and I'm not saying just buy in Cleveland. I sell real estate in Ohio. I can sell anywhere in the state of Ohio. But you have to determine for yourself where you want to live and what community you want to help support and what your children are going to do as they grow up. That's an individual decision.
Elaine, you have sold houses from the lowest price to the highest price, haven't you?
I've sold a house as low as $5,000.
And you've sold a high.
And I sold a house, the most expensive house I sold was a little over $600,000.
$600,000.
$600,000.
So There's no price range that if whatever they want, you can sell it.
If you want it and you qualify, you can get it.
Of course, we're dealing with Elaine Y. Gaither, Realtor, Notary Signing Agent, Century 21 Homestar, and that office, which is located at 31005 Bainbridge. That's Suite 5 in Solon, Ohio 44139. The direct telephone number is 440-463-8651. As a matter of fact, I did get one posting at the Art McCoy University of Common Sense, and definitely it's interesting if the county shows up at Art's house after whooping. It's the professor getting a whooping from his wife, which came from 216316, that say he's going to need that real estate as well. And also, I did get a text message from the 314, that's St. John, Missouri. He said, thank you very much for dealing with real estate. That's a subject that more of our people need to deal with.
Absolutely. Listen, that's why when Elaine said that she has a passion, and I know she do, for helping our people as far as real estate is concerned, because if you ain't got a piece of the rock, you're going to be left out. And listen, I have that same passion, and I said, you got to come on. You understand? Look, we're going to have to break this cycle of renting, and not owning property, and that's why I'm glad to have Elaine on this program. Listen, folks, millions of listeners, I don't care if you're young, in between, or seniors, this lady can help you. She's sincere about it. She don't have to do this. She's doing it because she wants to have us become homeowners, become a part of the real estate market. All right, who's on the line? Talk to me.
Hi, Art. Good evening. This is Rhoda. I want to thank you for having Elaine on. She has some very good information. I had a couple questions. Is it too late to get into areas like Cedar Central and Huff? I know there's been a lot of talk about gentrification of neighborhoods, and if you wait too long, you can't get in a certain neighborhood because the prices have gone up. So I want to know what her opinion is about issues about gentrification in Cleveland, and particularly getting into those neighborhoods. And I also wanted to ask if she's aware of black people that work in a group. You had a previous caller that referred to it, that they network together and spend their money cooperatively to buy properties to help our people who wouldn't be able to get in otherwise be able to rent nice, affordable housing in Cleveland.
All right. Thank you for your phone call. You're going to hang up. She's going to answer your call. Go ahead.
As far as gentrification goes, as that progresses in our communities, sometimes it's harder for some of us to get back into them once we've moved out. There are a lot of people who look at some of those areas, like the Fairfax area, the Huff area, which my friend Fannie Lewis was very adamant about bringing up. Some of those properties are expensive, but it depends on you and what your income is and what it is that you're willing to do to get where you want to go. We can help you do whatever it is you want to do. You just let us know. We work with you.
So, and you are a firm believer that if you can keep your home, don't sell your home, right?
Keep it. You know, I find people today are getting, some of the older people are getting reverse mortgages. And the problem that exists when you get a reverse mortgage is that you keep it as long as you live in it. And once you pass, then the property goes back to the lender. What happens there is if you've got children, heirs, that you could pass it on to, you've just nullified their inheritance. And sometimes that's the only way that some of our young people are going to be able to move forward and have the money to do the same thing you did. They can't buy now because there's nothing there for them.
No doubt about it.
As a matter of fact, once again, you are listening to www.newstalkcleveland.com. The number here directly is 216-578-1490. You can also text us at 216-804-7462.
Melanated Media News, get ready to finish off your report shortly. Who's on the phone line? Talk to me.
Yeah, this is O.K.'s son. How are you?
Fine, Brother Otay's son.
Yeah, well, just in short, I just want to inform everybody, U.S. Veterans of Ohio presents a day in the park at Cleveland Heights. We are at the shelter 2A and 2B, and we'd like to invite all veterans and their families this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we're giving out information that all veterans need to know. So come on and be with us. This is our 5th year doing this. So I want to invite all veterans, come on up and enjoy the company and enjoy the information with us. Then one other thing, don't forget that the showtime at the Apollo, I am donating $100 for 10 tickets and $25 for 2 VIP tickets at the showtime at the Apollo. So I want everybody to jump on board and be a part, because we are all family. So let's get together and help these young people do the right thing. And one other thing, just before I go, I want to say that the Superfly Barbershop, you need to bring young men in so they can hear seniors and older men talk, so you can learn something. That's what I did as a child. I sat in a barbershop and listened to seniors talk. So that in turn helped me be a better person, look at the community. So come on by, because if you walk into the Superfly barbershop, you will learn something. I guarantee you that.
All right. Thank you for your phone call, Ms. Otay's son. We really appreciate you, okay? All right.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. We got Elaine, you got my phone lines burning up. Who's on the phone line? Talk to me.
Hi, this is Tony. Hi, everybody. I really enjoying your show today, all your different conversations. But I wanted to say something about to Elaine, because Elaine, I live in the Buckeye Woodland area, and I'm seeing that some change here, some intruders are coming. And I just wondered if you had any thoughts on that. They're calling it the, part of the University Circle or Greater University Circle area. So I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts about that.
When you say intruders?
Well, people, I've been here 25 years. My house is paid for, and I see people coming that don't look like me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I see I just see some real change coming, because they keep referring to the area as the Greater University Circle area.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for your phone call.
What you're finding is that the hospitals, University, and Cleveland Clinic are growing exponentially. And as they grow, they are bringing in people who don't look like us that are looking for homes. And you'll find that there is a nonprofit that buys some of these homes and rehabs them and then sell them for outrageous prices to some of these people. We can do the same thing. We can own our own homes. Our people just don't seem to understand how important it is that we have home ownership. We got to change the narrative. Home ownership isn't that important. Yes, it is. Because if it wasn't important, they would not be coming in buying properties where we live. And when they do that, eventually they crowd us out. Downtown is full of other ethnicities. They're building those apartments. They're putting in the lofts. It's full of those people who don't look like us, and they're paying exorbitant rents. We can't afford those rents.
I had a quick question for you. What about the people who are renting And how can they educate themselves, or where should they begin to look on educating themselves as not to be priced out for gentrification?
That's a hard one, because as the neighborhoods change and the racial composition changes, the prices go up. If you look at Slavic Village today, it's a total different area than it was a few years ago. The same thing is happening. Downtown is coming into the inner city. The same thing is happening. Give me a call. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
All right, and Elaine, we're getting ready to get off the air. Elaine, they're going to give you a call at where?
440-463-8651.
Elaine.